Have you ever been listening to a song and out of nowhere, you get goosebumps, or a specific part just makes you feel happy, or nostalgic, or even a little sad? Well, that's not an accident. It's actually a kind of code. And today, we are going to crack that code. We're diving into the emotional blueprint of music, the chord progression.
Because honestly, that's the best way to think about it. Every song you love is basically taking you on a trip. It's got a starting point, a little adventure in the middle, and, most importantly, a return home.
Now, the thing that powers this whole journey is the chord progression. And a progression isn't just a bunch of chords thrown together randomly. Nope. It's a carefully chosen sequence that follows one simple, super powerful rule: the constant push and pull between tension and release.
Take this one, for example. C to G to A minor to F. Even if you've never touched a piano or a guitar, I guarantee you've heard this sequence thousands of times. It just feels right, doesn't it? That's because it's telling a story that your brain already knows and loves.
And here's the key thing to get your head around. The melody, the part you actually hum or sing along to, it's really just along for the ride. The chords, they are the road. They're laying down the emotional path for the entire song.
So, let's take a look at this musical map. It really all boils down to this one simple, powerful story. The feeling of leaving home, going on an adventure, and then that amazing, satisfying feeling of coming back. This is the emotional heartbeat of pretty much all the music we listen to.
And the engine driving this whole thing is what we call tension and resolution. Tension is that feeling of being away from home, that little bit of uncertainty. It makes you feel like you need to go somewhere. And resolution? Well, that's the opposite. It's a feeling of comfort, of stability. It's the feeling of walking through your front door. It's home.
Okay, so how does a song actually create this journey? Well, it turns out that in any key, chords basically have one of three jobs or functions: tonic, predominant, or dominant. Each one has its own specific job, its own feeling that helps tell the story. Let's break them down.
First up, you've got the tonic chords. This is your home base. The I chord, which in the key of C major is, you guessed it, a C chord, is the ultimate point of rest. It's that, we're here feeling. Total stability.
Then you've got your predominant chords. These are the ones that get the journey started. They create a little bit of movement, just enough to gently pull us away from the comfort of that home base. This is the feeling of grabbing your keys and hitting the road. And then we hit the dominant. This is where things get interesting. This is maximum tension. It's that feeling of being really far away. The adventure's been great, but now you have this powerful, undeniable urge to get back. The dominant chord creates this incredible magnetic pull right back to home. And that magnetic pull leads us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important and satisfying moment in all of Western music. It's the ultimate homecoming. Just imagine the sound of that V chord, the dominant. It's just hanging there in the air, full of suspense, almost begging you to resolve it. It's the musical version of a cliffhanger. Your ear is just waiting for it, expecting it. And then, boom, it lands, back on the I chord, the tonic. And that release is so incredibly satisfying. That move from V to I is the sound of a question being answered, a journey being completed. So why does that feel so good to our ears? Well, think of it like musical gravity. There are certain notes inside that tense V chord that are practically desperate to fall back to the safety of the I chord. And after centuries of listening to music, our brains are hardwired to expect that exact resolution. It's literally the sound of the end. So once you understand this basic story of tension and release, of home and away, you start to see that a lot of the world's most popular songs are really just telling a few of our favorite stories over and over and over again.
And this one? This is the undisputed heavyweight champion, the IVV progression. Let's look at its story, right? It starts at home with the I. Then it jumps all the way to maximum tension with the V. Then it lands on the Vi, which is a minor chord, so it gives us a little bit of emotion, a little reflection. And then it uses the IV chord as a nice smooth path to lead us right back to the beginning. It's a perfect, bite-sized emotional loop.
And it is absolutely wild just how common this one story is. I mean, look at this. Pop, rock, Bollywood, worship music. This one progression is everywhere. And why? Because it works. It's the perfect formula. It sounds fresh, but also feels deeply emotionally familiar. But of course, that's not the only story music tells. You have the IEVI, which sounds really sophisticated and is basically the foundation of all jazz. There's the classic IVIV, which has that great, nostalgic 1950s feel. And if you start on the minor vib chord, you get that emotional, modern pop sound we hear all over the radio. Each one is just a slightly different kind of journey.
So you might be wondering, how can we talk about these stories if every song is in a different key with different notes? Well, that's where the real genius of this whole system comes in.
Let's go back to our famous four-chord song. Okay, in the key of C, the chords are C, G, A minor, and F. Simple enough, but if we play that exact same emotional progression in the key of G, the chords become G, D, E minor, and C. The actual notes are completely different.
But the story, the journey, it hasn't changed one bit. The relationship between the chords feels exactly the same. And that is the magic of Roman numerals. They're like a universal translator for music. They let us talk about the emotional story of a song, no matter what key it's in. And just like any good story, music needs punctuation. We call these cadences. They're just short chord patterns that signal the end of a musical phrase or idea. And that super powerful V to I we keep talking about, that's called a perfect cadence. It's the musical equivalent of a period. Full stop. The sentence is over. So, the next time you put on a song you love, listen a little differently. Listen past the singer's voice and the main melody, and try to hear the road that it's all traveling on. Listen for that journey away from home, and for that sweet, sweet satisfaction of coming back. Now that you know the code, what new stories are you going to hear?